Episode 95 of the Joomla Beat podcast, and this week we're celebrating Joomla's 10th birthday.
Yay, happy birthday!
Latest Joomla news, design tips, marketing ideas and interviews with experts in the industry.
Beginner or professional, this podcast is for Joomla enthusiasts.
Welcome to the Joomla Beat podcast with your host, Peter Buey.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Joomla Beat podcast, the podcast all about designing, developing, managing and marketing your Joomla website. I'm your host, Peter Buey, and joining me is the magnificent and creative Martina Kotzian.
Oh, thanks for, I think, the best intro yet.
Yeah, they get better and better every episode.
They do. Have you been taking notes?
I actually sat down and thought about that one before I actually started the podcast.
You think about this before you go to bed at night, don't you?
Yes, I do. Every single night I jot down various ideas, and one of them is intros for you.
Excellent.
Yes.
So you can tell you've been working hard.
I know. I'm glad you can tell. Anyway, this podcast episode is a special one. We're a little bit late for it, unfortunately, but it's Joomla's 10th birthday. It's just passed last week, and that happened on the 17th of August. So last week we had the Joomla user group here in Sydney celebrating Joomla's birthday, and we had cake.
Yes.
Yes,
that cake was delicious.
Yeah, it was. I brought home some
Those
cupcakes.
little muffins.
Yeah,
Cupcakes, yeah.
Tim, who's the organizer of the Sydney Joomla user group, baked a big cake as well, chocolate cake. That was quite... He's got many talents.
I didn't get any chocolate cake.
No, I didn't have anything to carry it home in.
Aw.
Unfortunately.
But the interesting thing I did notice about those cupcakes, did Tim make those as well?
No, Shayla did.
Oh, is that his wife?
No, Shayla's another Joomla user member.
Oh, okay.
She's a fan of the podcast as well.
So what I noticed about those cupcakes was the logo, the Joomla logo.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is I always thought the Joomla logo was made up of pegs. Like pegs that were joined together. Yeah. And then, but I only noticed from her awesome cupcake design that you could actually tell that they were people.
Ah, yeah.
And the people were joined together and all different colours of people.
That's right.
And then that's when it clicked.
Well, I'm glad it finally clicked for you, Martina. You've only been working with Joomla for so many years.
I know, and I never really appreciated the logo because I just thought they were pegs, and I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. That's not very
peg
interesting
management system.
Yeah. But now I realise they're people.
So for anyone else in the world that didn't realise, it's actually people.
Interconnecting.
That's
so it's
right.
an interconnected CMS and hub of people.
Yes.
Community.
Well, it's a community that actually makes the CMS. So without the people, there wouldn't be a content management system. Hence, that logo actually fit really well with how the whole Joomla idea came about. Okay.
Well done to Shayla.
For making those fabulous for cupcakes. And if you check out the show notes at joomlabe.at/ep95, you'll see a couple of photos of that. And I've collated a couple of extra photos from around the world of all the cakes.
Really? Did you?
Yeah.
I haven't seen
all the
these.
Cakes. Oh, well, check out the show notes.
Okay.
Check out the show notes and you see all these cakes that I've collated from around the world and people celebrating Joomla's 10th birthday as well.
That's so cool. Happy birthday, Joomla.
Exactly. Now, before we get into what we want to talk about, and that's our top 10 favourite things about Joomla. To
celebrate Joomla's 10th birthday.
That's right. So we're going to discuss a little bit about that. But I'll just take everyone through a little bit of history in regards to when things happen. So a bit of a timeline. And you can find this all at spreadthejoomlalove.com. Now, this is a website that Brian Tiemann put together along with the marketing team from Joomla as well. So it's a little bit of a collaboration over a couple of things. But Brian put this, Brian Tiemann, who I interviewed in episode 7, I think it is. He was one of the original co-founders of the Joomla project, and he's put this site together that talks about the timeline and the history of the Joomla project and how it all started. So first off, in 17th of August 2005 is when it all started. The former Mambo core project announced they were leaving and starting something new. So that was the core team that were working on Mambo back then before it became Joomla. So everyone that was working on the Mambo project actually went, that's it, we're leaving because of all sorts of reasons, and started Joomla. So that's when it all started back then.
Yeah, wasn't there a divide between it being an open platform system versus paid software?
So originally it was all open source, and that's the way that it should have been. But the Mambo guys who owned the naming and the copyright and originally put the code online and made it open source wanted to take it in a different direction and wanted to make it corporate, or have a corporate structure behind it, and basically capitalize on the work and effort of the community so far. So at that point, that's when the core developers and the core team at that time went, no, we don't want this, and set out to make something new. So that's the birthing.
Is there a meaning to the word Joomla, or is it just a unique name?
Well, that's actually a good point, because the next key date was on the 1st of September, and that was the actual choosing of the name. So
this sounds like an interesting story.
Yeah, well, if you listen to the podcast with Brian Tiemann, he actually goes through how the name came about, and they basically went through massive dictionaries of different languages to find a name that wasn't commonly used. So if you Googled it or did a search, it didn't come up with like a million searches.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, the name Mambo here in Australia was actually a clothing brand.
That's right.
And a very big clothing brand, like worth quite a lot of money. So if they were to continue using Mambo as the content management system's name, they would have got a lawsuit.
Is Mambo still around?
It is. It's that really cool, edgy artwork, and they did a big opera house thing over the summer.
No, as in Mambo the CMS.
Oh, Mambo the CMS. Sorry, no, it died.
Oh, right, okay.
It pretty much died a couple of months in, or maybe a year after Joomla took off.
Oh, interesting.
Like, essentially, the whole community just went, this one's free. The core developers went over here.
Yeah.
Let's stick with that.
Okay.
Very unfortunate. It was, if the other one stayed around, who knows where that would have gone. So, yeah.
Well, they probably would have been sued by the clothing company.
Yeah. that
would have disintegrated anyway.
So after the 1st of September, the name was announced. The Joomla.org was released to the rest of the world, which is pretty cool.
So was that the only reason why Joomla named itself Joomla? Because it was unique to the search rankings?
Oh, sorry.
What's the rest of the story?
No. Yeah, I didn't finish that story. No, there was more to it. So they searched through different dictionaries, and they went through a Swahili one and came across the word Joomla. And it was actually spelled a little bit differently. I think it was spelled Jumla, like Joomla. And it's a Swahili word for the word altogether. That's what it means. So they changed it a little bit to Joomla and used that instead. So its base is from the Swahili word Joomla, which means altogether.
I've always thought it was such a strange name. Now yeah, it's good to know how it all came about.
A little bit of a history lesson for you.
It's like kind of, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah. Very unique, yes. It's a kind of an interesting name. Yes, very interesting, yes. Yes, Martina, it's interesting.
But it kind of rolls off the tongue like it's nice to say, Joomla.
Compared to Drupal. Drupal's kind
or WordPress. Joomla, it kind of sounds fun.
It does.
Doesn't it?
It does. I think it does. We'll might have to brainstorm that later. Anyway, so a little bit later down the track, on the 17th of September, so coming up, is when the Joomla 1 was actually released. So that's the first code base where people could actually use the code and download it and install it. And that was basically a copy of the original Mambo code. So pretty much the same CMS side by side, just all the code was renamed and changed over and swapped over with the Joomla logo.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what had to be done. So that was different from the Mambo thing. So I'm pretty sure a lot of the code, I'm assuming a lot of the code was changed. But that was essentially what they had to do to get the code up and running. And they did it within a month, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Very impressive.
Yeah. And at that point of time, people basically thought, oh, this Joomla thing, it's just a phase. It's just a hobby that these guys are doing. Like the corporate version, the Mambo version is going to live on. There's no way this Joomla thing can outlast Mambo.
Oh, little did they know.
No, they had no idea. And then lo and behold, it just got wiped off the face of the earth. Never to be seen or heard of again.
Until now.
Yeah. Well, I actually tried to hunt down the original creator of Mambo. I think his name is Miro. Trying to find out what he was doing now. You know, maybe he started another company and is doing some great things. Pretty much disappeared. Yeah. I was hoping to get an interview with him and find out his side of the story. And
maybe he was assassinated.
Well, that's one way to end a project. But no.
Maybe he knew too much.
So. I really don't think so. But yeah, kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
Amazing opportunity there, but just didn't work out for him and his company. Anyway, a little bit later down the track, on the 21st of September 2005, the Joomla logo was announced. So finally, they had like an open competition that was on the forums.
Oh, right.
And quite a few Joomla logos were submitted.
Oh, it'd be interesting to see what variations there were.
There's actually a video.
Really?
There's
video. Links to...
Yeah, I'll show you the video a little bit later, but I'll post that up in the show notes as well. Again,
Great.
Brian Tiemann is, I guess, the custodian of the history here. He's collated all the logos that were submitted and put a little video together.
I wonder how many PEG logos there were.
I don't know. There were some absolutely terrible logos.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Well, you know, back then in 2005, amateur logo development was basically slap a font together, a couple of images, and they looked pretty tacky.
All looked really the same at that time. They're all very kind of Web 2.0 iconic
pretty
logos.
Much.
Do you remember?
I think this is a little bit predating Web 2.0.
Right.
I think this is, if there was a Web 2.0 really, I think it's more Web GeoCities.
Oh, no.
Some of these logos, they were terrible.
I remember when logos had those almost eclipse style curves to them. Like a lot of logos had
like
curves.
A half moon shape or something. Yeah. There's a couple of those in this. It's awesome.
Oh, I really want to see this.
Yeah, I'll show you after. But for anyone listening, check out the show notes. I've posted the links up there, or check out Brian Tiemann's website, spreadthejoomlalove.com. It's all on there as well under the history timeline. But going on from there, the rest of it is pretty much history. It started winning awards. The later versions got released. The Joomla extension directory got released, and people started making businesses out of it. Joomla days started happening all around the world, so more and more Joomla days started opening, and more people started using the CMS. So that's spreadthejoomlalove.com. Now, just one other resource that I'd like to point out for people, and that is the quiz that is going around to quiz on how much of a Joomla expert you are.
And you were really sad because you
only got one wrong.
Yeah. What was it, 90% or 95%?
I got 14 out of 15.
Okay, what is that as a percentage? Is that maybe 93%?
93 exactly.
Oh, wow.
93.3.
How good am I?
Yeah, your mathematics is quite good there, Martina. I just had a mental blank.
So does that mean that you're not a real Joomla expert?
Obviously not.
Do you have to get 99% and above?
You have to get 100% actually to get that quiz perfect.
And you don't know what question you got wrong?
No, it doesn't say, which is a really annoying thing.
Maybe it was a trick question.
I think it was too. Yeah, so 93.3% is what I got. Not quite the 100%. But yeah, like you said, there's probably some really tough trick questions there. I think I tripped over some of the trick questions at the end, unfortunately. I didn't get my 100%.
Oh, are you going to take the quiz again?
I don't think there's any point now. I'll probably get that one wrong again. So.
Maybe you might end up with 13 out of 15. And then it would just keep going downhill.
At least I got 14. But anyway, it said I was still a Joomla expert.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I should take it. I wonder what I would get. Yeah.
I don't think you'll get the programming questions though, Martina.
Might need some help with those.
Yes, you might. Anyway, you can find that quiz at gavic.com/quiz.html. I'll post that up in the show notes. You can also find it on our Facebook page. I put it on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Joomla.
Are you a Joomla expert?
Yes.
Hey, we should ask our listeners to post their results on our podcast.
They should.
Yeah.
If anyone gets the full 15 out of 15, I'll be very impressed because I've asked a couple of other people and no one has gotten 15 out of 15.
Yeah, take a screenshot and maybe you can send a prize.
Yes. Oh, a prize, hey? Now I have to send someone
something.
Joomla
t-shirt.
I have some stickers.
Cupcake.
I have stickers.
Stickers, okay.
I can send Joomla sticker to anyone that gets 15 out of 15. I only have a few of them left, but if you get 15 out of 15, take a screenshot and post it on the Facebook page or on the Google
photoshopping.
Plus page. Yeah, be honest here, guys. If you honestly get a 15 out of 15, please post it up.
Peter will be very jealous.
Yes, you beat me.
Maybe I should do this quiz. I really want some stickers.
Good luck. Why? Well, you should just go over there and get out of the box. Anyway, now let's go into our main topic or main segment that we've planned, and that's our top 10 things that we like about Joomla. So to celebrate Joomla's 10th birthday, we've gone through and created a list of our top 10 things that we like about Joomla, one for every year of its celebration. So ladies first, Martina, what's your very first one there?
Okay, I would have to say my very first thing that I love about Joomla is the fact that I can create a custom design and then have a developer put it together.
So flexible in what you can do with it.
Exactly.
So you can come up with any crazy design. Of course, I know that you come up with crazy designs and then you make me put it together or you make someone else put it together.
And you always get really annoyed. You're like, why can't you just simplify this? And I'm like, no, it has to be like that. And then the client likes it and they approve it. And then you have to go and find out how to code.
If there's a good logic to it and it makes sense, then yes, we put it together. But the point is that Joomla is flexible enough to do anything you come up with in terms of your imagination.
Exactly. Imagination is your only limit. And that's kind of what's been frustrating me about some of the, it wouldn't be other CMSs, I guess. What would you call Shopify? Just other platforms?
Yeah, so Shopify is more of a online platform, so a SaaS service. So you're limited in what you can do.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like I've lost a bit of uniqueness and custom design by going through Shopify, although it is fantastic in other areas.
Yeah. So Shopify overall...
There's been a few sacrifices.
That's right. So we couldn't build the site exactly how we wanted. We couldn't build the blog area the way we wanted, so it's very limited in regards to that. Design was still flexible enough, but there's still more that we want to do. So there's limitations and pros and cons. But Joomla didn't have that.
No.
Yeah. The downside where we had in regards to your situation was that we had some failings in maintenance of the shopping cart, and because of that we lost potential sales. So we had to switch over to a more stable shopping platform.
Sometimes you do just have to sacrifice design for conversions.
Well, yeah, conversions are probably more important than the look and feel of some things. But we had to go to a little bit more stable e-commerce platform from what we're using. So unfortunate with that one. But the point is, flexibility of design, we could do whatever we want. All right, number 2, and this is a more coding kind of aspect, which I love about Joomla, and that's the clear MVC structure, or the model view controller structure of how the CMS is put together. You're nodding at me, but you have no idea what I'm talking about.
I've kind of blanked out.
Yeah, okay. Cool. So that's the blank out expression. Gotcha. Anyway, what that means is the templating system and the code behind the CMS are completely separate from each other. So when you're coding up a template, so when you throw me a design and I start putting it together, I don't need to worry about what Joomla's doing under the hood. I just code up the CSS, put in some little bits of short code to invoke certain parts of Joomla, and away it goes. That's it.
So how would you compare that to maybe a car analysis?
Wow.
As in, the engine's already there, you just have to connect some of the parts together?
Think of it as a kit car.
Okay.
So you have a kit, but you go away and you design how the car's going to look. Yeah.
Yeah, a sunroof.
Then you order all those parts, you get them together, and then you piece them together.
Oh, okay.
So you don't need to worry about how the engine works. The engine's just there. You don't need to worry about like how the seats are put together. You just grab the seat and put it in.
Okay.
Yeah. So very modular, I guess, is probably a good way of saying describing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your next one, Martina?
This one kind of contradicts my custom design one.
Okay.
But my second love is that Joomla does have templates for clients who actually can't afford a custom design or don't have the time for a custom design.
Yes. So, yeah, a lot of clients do come to us and they can't afford our fees.
All the bells and whistles. Yeah.
Yeah, to make the custom stuff.
Yeah.
And it's perfect for them in regards to that.
Exactly. If they just want something that's not too out of the box, a little bit more simplified, they just need some slideshow banners, bit of tags, maybe like more like a brochure style website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely for the simple side. So this is probably best when they go to a template shop, such as Joomla Art or Joomla Bamboo or Rocket Theme, for example. They're probably some of the biggest, most popular ones.
And some of the designs are absolutely stunning.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
They release a new template every month. Us developers can subscribe to it and use it as a giant library of resources. So when a client comes, we go, do you like this? This? Great, cool. We'll just put your logo at the top and there you go.
Change some colours.
Yeah.
And you can still change a few of the modules around as well, so that it's a little bit more unique.
So that's huge flexibility and really good for startup or small businesses that are just trying to get into the market. Okay, so my next one here, number 4, is documentation. There is such
Number
good...
3.
Number 4.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Number 4, Martina. Yeah, it's the documentation.
How did I get that percentage right?
I don't know. You can't count in order, but you managed to work out the percentage of that quiz.
I'm one of those strange geniuses.
Yeah. Documentation for Joomla is absolutely fantastic. If you go through the documentation website, almost everything is detailed out in how you do things or how you write code for Joomla. In comparison, Dion, who was working in our office as our developer, he was building a WordPress site and he was trying to work out some of the functions in WordPress so he could code something up. But the documentation site for WordPress was incomplete.
Oh.
So they'll just have the name of the function, so they acknowledge that it exists, but they didn't give any description as to what it does.
Right.
So he was just looking, going, I don't know. So he did some Googling, and he found someone else's blog, like just some random guy's blog, which is the unofficial complete guide to the WordPress API. So he went through that and went, oh, okay, here it is on this random guy's blog.
All right.
So
he should have linked it back.
Well, I don't know if WordPress is ever going to link to someone else's blog to acknowledge.
Well, maybe they should.
Well, if they did, then it will be a complete guide to WordPress's functions. But no, it's not. At least Joomla has that. And I believe it's actually generated dynamically on the fly from the code. Because the code is clean, they can do that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
So they just go generate. The whole documentation API is generated and you can search and browse. You can click and find all the stuff that you need.
That is really good.
Yes, documentation is clear. It's very, very much easier to use than the other CMSs. Number 5, Martin.
Okay. Number 5, another cool thing that I love about Joomla is the cool extensions to enhance a custom design or even a template design. So that would include galleries and a lot of these extensions we've mentioned in our previous podcasts. So fun slideshows.
The galleries, parallax
effects,
modules. Yeah. So if you go back to any of the podcasts and search for the tag like top 10, you just see lists and lists of awesome extensions that we've gone through and reviewed, which is awesome. So it's very easy for a designer to pick something and plug it into the website and away it goes. Complex functionality that would have taken anyone days to write, up and running in a few clicks.
That's right. And design as well. You don't have to go in there and, I guess, create something from scratch either.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. So you go through, look at the extension directory, look for something cool and funky, and just install that and away you go.
Yeah, or relevant to the client and the design.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Yes, that is a really good one. Now, leading on from that, so extensions, finding them and plugging them into your website is really cool. But on a developer's point of view, developers find it really easy to create their own extensions and sell them on the extension directory. So that's absolutely brilliant. So number
6?
Number 6, yes. So number 6, it is absolutely easy to create extensions for Joomla and publish them on an extension directory and making a living out of it.
So the community allows for other people to get involved and create an income for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So there has to be some way to leverage an income off this free open source content management system, and that is one way that a lot of people do it. Some people have built huge businesses around this. I know this is something that a lot of the developers of Joomla, that's all they do. So I know a lot of extension developers out there that are either providing the extensions for free and charging for premium support, or charging for access to updates to their extensions, depending on how they want to do their pricing model for the extension. So it's really good opportunity there for any developer to make decent living from selling their code.
And you've got some software as well, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a couple of extensions out there that make a little bit of money, so it supplements our general income for our main core business, which is really cool. So number 9?
7?
So number 7, Martina?
Okay, number 7. This one is one of my favorites. I love how Joomla allows the client to manage their own website. This to me was quite revolutionary back in the day, back in maybe 2008.
Yeah, seriously, it's still revolutionary for many of our clients.
It's amazing.
Now.
I mean, just going from my beginnings, which was like Flash or Dreamweaver, where every single update the client wanted, whether it was a text, update, I just want to change 2 words on this website, and it's such a pain to log in, find the page that they're looking for, make some image changes, and especially if you're only charging an hourly rate for something like that, it really becomes such a pain to do that. It doesn't really seem worth the effort. Especially to somebody like me who just wants to focus on design.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure some people would love doing these sorts of updates, but yeah, I actually still have a client that is on Dreamweaver, and he's my last one, and I'm trying so hard to get him to migrate over to Joomla, and I think I'm almost there. He says he's waiting till November, which is when he's less busy and it's okay to migrate the site over. But he is still married to his design that I designed back in 2009. And it's still a good design. Like, it still works and it's still functional. But there's just web trends and web design have just come so far, but he's really holding on to his design. But that's okay. I'm happy if he can just migrate the site over to Joomla, and then that way he can do the updates, because you won't help me with Dreamweaver, will you? You just refuse to.
I can do it. It's just really tedious.
It is, yes.
I have to code whole sections of the site to do an update, as opposed to just copying in some text, copy paste, done. There you go.
That's right. And I tried to get our part-time designer to help me do the updates, and I think she was really lost with Dreamweaver, because I tried to delegate and pass it on to somebody, but I don't know. It's kind of like a bit, not cursed, but it's like my curse. At the moment, it's my... Some
front-end devs, when they start, they jump straight into WordPress, or they jump straight into Joomla, and that's all they know. So they don't know how to code something from scratch.
No.
And I actually find it a little bit disconcerting.
I can imagine
that they can't code something from scratch. Yeah, so it's probably something we have to actually go back and teach some of our guys to make sure they know the fundamentals of web design and web development. Interesting. Yeah, I just find it tedious. I don't like doing those type of updates on websites for clients. I prefer to build a whole section, build giant functional templates or something. Updating a page with a piece of content, it's not my kind of work.
No.
Yeah, it's... Yeah.
That's why they need to do it themselves.
I know.
Or pay a premium price.
I know some agencies would charge $700 to do tiny little updates.
Yeah. I have, back in 2005, I used to work at a photography studio, and the owner got their design, their website built by an agency, and the agency charged them back then in 2005 $700 just to change the background color.
Yeah,
and
that's
to me,
ridiculous.
that was, even back then, I just thought that was ludicrous, and it still is now as well. But, I mean, if the client really just doesn't want to touch their design, and I mean, I guess background color is one thing. They might not be able to do that sort of thing, but just text and image updates and, creating new pages, they should be able to know the fundamentals, I think.
Especially in this day and age when content marketing is so important. Yeah.
Blogging.
So, exactly.
Yeah. The latest news updates, that sort of thing.
I've completely lost the title of this number, Martina. What was this one for you?
Oh, clients managing their own website.
Oh, right, of course. Yes, sorry. But we kind of digressed and moved around to Dreamweaver and all this other stuff, so I lost the title. So that one was number 7. Yes, number 7, clients managing their own stuff. Now, number 8. Now, this is probably where I started off in coding and building Joomla websites, and that's templating. So I talked about the flexible MVC code a little bit earlier as my number 1, so the difference between the theming, design, and the actual code and the logic behind everything. But this one here, it's just the templating itself. I love how Joomla's templating engine works, the language behind it, and how you can insert little bits of code here and there and have a really flexible template compared to how Drupal or WordPress do things. So in the Joomla world, you can have a single template that would work across an entire site. So one single template would have the logic in it to be flexible enough to have a 1-column or a 1-column site, or a 2-column site, or a 3-column site. So those sidebars could dynamically grow or shrink or disappear depending on the template or what's supposed to be appearing on those pages.
That is really cool.
As opposed to WordPress, where you'd actually have to design and code up each one of those templates. So if you had a gallery page, a gallery component, Joomla would be smart enough to work out that, if you code it up, that is, work out that this is supposed to be a gallery page, and if it's a gallery page, it's a full width template. Whereas with WordPress or Drupal, you'd have to specify that page to load up another template. So it's more code, it's more maintenance.
Sounds messier as well.
It is. So imagine like one of the WordPress sites that we're working at the moment has, I think, 7 different templates. So they have the homepage template, a content page template, the food menu template, a gallery template, events.
Oh, it sounds like
booking.
Dreamweaver.
Yeah, it almost is.
Yeah.
It almost is. So that's when they were made back then. So the logic was there to think, all right, we have a different template for different layouts. Whereas Joomla, you could code that all into the logic of how the template renders. So you just have one file.
Really?
It's a longer file, but you have your header at the top, and then you have if-else statements throughout the template. So if page equals gallery, then display multi-columns or single columns.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so you can have all that logic in there. And this is how I learned how to code. This is where I learned how to create clean semantic templates and very light and lean templates as well. So this is where it all came into play. And that's another thing I absolutely love about Joomla, the clean and flexible templating.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. So number 9, Martina, what have you got?
Okay, so this touches on some of the other ones that we've mentioned in relation to software development, but I just love how Joomla offers people career opportunities, such as freelancers or self-starters that just want to do something on the side or even make it their career. And it sounds like with Joomla, because it's open source and there's so much information online, you don't necessarily have to go out and get a uni degree or do a really long-winded, expensive course.
Yeah, that's right. You can basically Google everything. Do a little bit of Googling, find the questions that you need, or jump on the forums and ask the community what your questions are and what problems you're having, and you have hundreds, if not thousands, maybe not thousands, but you have quite a few people jumping back online and helping you out.
And it's free as well, so you don't have to fork out X amount of money to build your own website or to build your client's website.
Yeah, so it's a very cost-effective way to start making money.
And to learn as well.
Yeah, very, very good. And that probably leads on to number 10, and this is the last thing I love about Joomla. And this is the fact that we've built such a big career out of it ourselves.
If it wasn't for Joomla, we wouldn't be here.
Nope, this podcast would not exist. We would not have raving fans that constantly email us and tell us we haven't put up the show notes yet and ask for particular links, which I keep on mentioning, but they can't find on the website because I don't do the link.
You're such a bad host.
Yeah.
Naughty.
No. I'm a good host. I'm just a bad follow-up writer. I'd accept that. It's the show notes that I just don't have the time for at the moment.
But those are the host's responsibilities.
Is it?
So you are a bad host.
Is it? I don't know about that.
Let's put up another question.
Yes.
Is Peter a bad host?
No. But anyway, I love Joomla because what it has done for us and our lives in general. So if it wasn't for Joomla, I wouldn't have asked if... This goes back to when we first started dating, but basically what I asked was, Martina, would you like to design this website I'm building here in Joomla? And I think Martina said yes.
Oh, that was our first joint project.
Yeah, back in the day when we were first dating, so it brought us together.
Oh, you tried to keep me in the loop.
Yeah, unfortunately I had to rebuild that site anyway.
Was that your way of maintaining contact?
With you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
yeah.
Very sweet.
Yeah, oh.
So would you have, say if Joomla didn't exist, would you be team WordPress or team Drupal?
I think I would have moved to WordPress.
Yeah. But you wouldn't be as in love with WordPress? No.
I originally started with movable type, which was very similar to WordPress, but the rendering system behind it and the template generating system behind it was quite tedious. Each time you did a change, you have to re-render everything. So it was quite time-consuming and tedious. So when Joomla came about, or Mambo came about, I went, oh, yeah, this is much better. And then Mambo split and went, oh, Joomla's better. And, of course, I tried everything back then. I played with everything. I had a WordPress
Yeah, how
blog.
did you first hear about Joomla or come across Joomla?
Oh, you just do searches.
Just online?
Yeah. So, like, friends were building websites and go, hey, check this thing out. I built a movable type. And I'll look at it and go, yeah, that's all right. I can do better. So I'll go home, I'll make a blog, and then, hey presto, I have a awesome movable type blog about Tamiya RC cars.
About what?
Remote control cars.
Oh.
Yes. So that's where
exciting.
it all started. So
Okay.
I built a blog with movable type about remote control cars, every specification about it. How to get more speed, how to optimize the cars, and blah, blah, blah. It got quite popular. It got a lot of comments and stuff.
Did it really?
It did.
Okay.
It did. I got rid of it, though, because I got tired of maintaining it. Unfortunate. It was good content. But then, yeah, I played with more corporate CMSs like Squiz, MySource Matrix, SharePoint. Then I played around with WordPress, Mambo, and then Joomla was the one that I stuck with because it was the easiest to work with and most flexible. But yes, number 10, why I like Joomla so much, it's built us quite a career, quite a business together, brought us together, I think.
Oh, it's a love story.
But it's brought us together. We spend every working hour, I guess, together building and designing websites, and they're all primarily Joomla sites. So it's work built. We've built a relationship out of it, not just business wise, but also together.
And relationships with clients as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's brought a lot of people together.
Yes, exactly. So in regards to our top 10 things that we love about Joomla, we'd love to hear what you guys love about Joomla. So just jump on the show notes on this podcast episode, joomla.be.at/EP95, and just post up a quick comment about what you love most about Joomla. Tell us what you like and share it with the rest of the community so we can spread the love.
Spread the love.
Speaking of which, Brian Tiemann also has a Spread the Love section on his website as well, where you can submit your reason why you love Joomla so much too. So if you do it on our website, make sure you jump over onto his as well and post up why you love Joomla so much. Okay? So let's wrap things up, Martina.
Okay.
Beat. Joomla Beat.
All right, so that's it for another podcast episode of the Joomla Beat podcast. If you like this podcast, please give us a 5-star rating and review. It really helps with the discoverability of the podcast, helps people find it, helps people discover and enjoy our content. And you can do that on the iTunes store.
Or Spreaker.
That's right. Just jump on the Spreaker network. I think you just give it a thumbs up or something on Spreaker. I can't remember exactly. We've got a lot of followers on Spreaker now.
Do we?
Yes. We should be able to hit the iHeartRadio network anytime now. Anytime. Just needs to get it approved.
Very good.
Who knows when that's going to happen. But yes, if you give us a 5-star rating and review, we'll check back later on and see what ratings and reviews we have and read them out on this podcast.
That's right. We need to do another shout out.
Yeah, we do that every once in a while.
And thank you to our sponsors as well.
Do we have a sponsor?
SiteGround?
No, they're not really sponsoring.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me change that bit. Now, if you want to get a awesome hosting deal, you can get a really awesome discount from SiteGround. Now, SiteGround have been hosting the Joomla Beat podcast for a very, very long time. And if you go to joomla.be.at/SiteGround, you can find out more about their hosting environment, why we love them so much, and how fast they actually get back to their ticket responses and requests. So they do an awesome job of hosting the podcast. They also host the Joomla.com website.
Do they?
Yeah, where you can get a free Joomla hosted website from them. So if you go to Joomla.com and start a website there, you can do something like martinakotzian.joomla.com.
Interesting.
And get your own free website, which is pretty cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, and it's all for free. But if you need your own Joomla hosting and you want it on your own domain name, etc., go to joomla.be.at/siteground and you can find out more about how you can get that what's it, like 70% off or something?
I think it's a pretty big discount, very generous.
I really can't remember now, but it's so cheap. It's so good. And of course, doing so also helps the podcast as well. It really helps, supports the show because we get a small affiliate fee from it, which is cool. I like that. Anyway, guys, until next time, please keep your website safe and secure. Make sure you keep them backed up. Oh, and if you have any Joomla celebration photos, please send them through so I can collate them all in the same spot. Okay? Until next time, everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys.
You've been listening to the Joomla Beat podcast, bringing together the community of designers, developers, fans, and users from around the globe. Joomla Beat.at